Welcome to this third session looking at Starboard software version 9.2, and this time we're going to look at some intermediate operations. And we can define these as being operations that you may want to look at after you've mastered the basic operation set. So the first thing we're going to look at are the shapes. So off my menu I select Tools, and then here we've got the shapes, and we'll just drag this shapes icon to the toolbar so we can access things a little easier. And if we look at them, you'll see that there are options and shapes there that we can draw quite easily using the IntelliPen. But if you're going to put a lot of shapes onto the page, it's a bit easier to use this shape function. There's also a couple of shapes that we can't draw very easily with the IntelliPen. The circle and the square, we can do those, but we need then to have a grid structure loaded onto the page and to snap the shape that we create with the IntelliPen to the grid in order to get a regular figure. But here I can just use circle, I can pull circles, I can do squares, as well of course as the lines and the arrows, which are probably done a little easier. As you can see, we can do them very quickly rather than waiting for the shape to be created from the IntelliPen. Of course, with all of these shapes we can fill them just the same way as we could the regular shapes that we drew in the basic operations section of these training files. Now, as we know, any object that we select, we've got properties that are associated with them, and we'll be looking at those in just a minute. But here we also have what we call a tap menu. So let me just put a new page on just to clear things up a bit, and we'll just pull a shape. Okay, and then we'll have a look at it. So I'll select it, and on my tap menu I've got quite a number of options there. Cut, copy, duplicate and delete are all pretty self-explanatory. The lock feature, if I lock this particular shape, then it means that I can't move it, I can't change its shape or size, and basically it locks it in position so that no change can be effected without removing the lock first. So we can just unlock that and then carry on. The next one down under lock is edit hyperlink, and this is a bit more of an advanced feature, so we'll do that in the next session. The object properties, of course, just bring out the properties from the sidebar. We have the ability to save this object as clip art. And of course, if I do that, all it does is add it to the clip art gallery, and then we can pull that particular object out at any time. We've already seen the order. We can put it to the background, to the foreground. If there are more objects there, we can change the layer order that they're placed on the page in so that we can choose which object slides behind which other object. And of course we can rotate it and we can flip it just by following the options within that particular menu. Okay, let's look at the object properties. I think I'm just going to fill this, make it a little more interesting. So we'll use the tap menu as we've been looking at it, go to the object properties, and then over here you can see there's some things that we can see that are duplicated in the tap menu. We can lock an item, we've got a hyperlink function, line color, line style, width and fill color are all items that we're very comfortable with. So we have this option here, infinite clone. Now it may be that you want to produce more than one of this particular shape or this particular object. We can of course duplicate it. If I choose to duplicate it more than once or to paste, then I will get more than one object, and I can pull this particular object out and you can see the different numbers that I've got there. Okay. I can also choose to look at the properties here and use this infinite clone feature. Now the idea of infinite clone is exactly what it says. It copies the item an infinite number of times, so it's just as you try to move the object it will create a copy and allow you to move that. So if you don't know how many of these items you're going to use on the page, selecting infinite clone is a good thing to do. You see we have a little icon here that tells us that we're infinitely cloned. As soon as we select it, that infinity icon appears, and then we can just pull a number of different copies of this particular object, and we can do that as many times as we like. Okay, the next thing we want to look at is screen capture. Now, screen capture is one of the tools that are available in our toolbox, which is here in the accessories box. If I want to look at that in the menu structure, it's menu and tools and accessories, and then you can see I've got a number of different options in here that we're going to be looking at. Okay, so the first thing is the screen capture. Now, with the screen capture window open here, I can select this button here, which will give me a desktop capture, so the entire desktop. This particular one captures a window that I can assign, and then I have a drag of a rectangle area, a marquee area that I can capture, and the final option here is a freehand capture. Just at the side here we've got an option button. There's a timer, which is a delay timer to allow us to capture menus. And then the settings here, I can choose to save the image I capture as a file, make it half size, which is quite handy if you're capturing the whole desktop, because when you place it into the Starboard software, it allows you to see the grab handles to resize it. I can go for continuous shooting, so I can build a folder full of images and just keep the screen capture program going. After I finish capturing one image, then I can capture another. The default value of automatic paste will automatically paste the image that I capture into Starboard software, and this invert selection is for the two marquee and freehand areas. Normally, if I drag an area or create a freehand area, I will capture what's inside that area. If I invert the selection, then it allows me to capture what is outside the area, so I can effectively remove a character or a section from an image or from a story. Okay, let's find something to capture. Well, we can take some bits of the desktop. So first of all, let's just take a marquee area, and all I do is just grab that, and it captures it and then automatically drops it on the Starboard page as an image, so I can resize it, rotate it, or do whatever I want with it. Okay, just delete that for the moment. Let's go back into the screen capture, and we'll look at the freehand area now. Well, let's just open an image. So I think we'll open our flower parts here. We've seen this one before. And we'll draw a freehand area, and we'll just grab something around here so you can see what goes on. And there we have it. Okay. Now we have two options available inside the edit part of the menu, which are undo and redo. So undo is already on the toolbar, so now I'm going to put redo on there, and anything I do can be undone. And we can go back literally hundreds of levels, but it will only affect what happens on the current page. So then I can redo and put the things back on that I've taken off. Let's put a new page in. I also have the ability to import a still image. Now we know we can grab an image and drop it directly onto the page. We've done that, well, just now. But if we import an image, then we import it as a background image. So here I can go Menu, File, Import. Let's go onto the desktop. Let's pick the face. We'll open that, and we've imported that as a background image. But we have some adjustments that we can do here. We can choose to fit it to the screen, rotate it, make it smaller, make it larger, okay, wherever we want it to be, and then OK it. And then it goes in as a background. Now, of course, if it's in as a background, as we already know, we can't affect that unless we look at the page properties and we hide the top layer. Now I can pick the image up, I can resize it again if I want to, if I'm not completely happy with the image size, and then I can put the layer back on again, and there we have imported a still image onto the page. Okay, I think that's enough for now. We're going to look at some advanced operations in the next session, and I hope you'll join me there.